الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة صدق الله العظيم. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الله الله في أصحابي لا تتخذوهم غرضا من بعدي أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. When I was asked to speak about Abu Bakr Radiallahu anhu, so normally these are not topics that I'm very, what you can say, familiar with. But for one reason, what pushed me to speak about it and to join in this jalsa where so many masajid are speaking about Abu Bakr Radiallahu anhu. The first is it never came. The thought was never ever when we were students that a time will come in South Africa where in masajid we will have to speak about Abu Bakr Radiallahu anhu in a manner of defense. It was always that a manner of praise, because this man was Islam. There was no way the thought could have ever come that a time can come in history again where people could make such an attack on this man and others will still say, I regard you as Muslim. It could never happen. We would see those people when we went to Masjid Nabawi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they wouldn't come in the masjid. Now you only even see them. The Saudi government doesn't allow them now. They don't give them any more visa. But there was a time when you would see them outside. They would have the niqab, they would have the hijab. But you're outside, no matter how good it looks, if that inside is not there, it's nothing. One thing would prevent them entering Masjid Nabawi was they would say that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we got no problem with him. We got a problem with his two companions. So as long as they are not pulled out, and they would say that a day would come where our man, who they would call Al-Mahdi, in their own story, a day will come where he will pull them out, and he will bring them alive, and he will whip them, and whatever they said, we understood it's a thing of that country. We would shake our heads, we would look at them and say, where they fell into this lie. But we never ever thought one day that lie would come into South Africa. And in our own people, who went to the maktab, who grew up with the love that whenever you say Abu Bakr, you must say Radiallahu anhu. The word can't go. That Allah is happy with him. Finished. Sometimes when I looked at those people and they said, we won't go to make salam, just because Abu Bakr is there, in Masjid Nabawi. Then the thought would go through my mind, that what will they do? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He said, in this world you are my companion. And what a thing it was, how he said it. That sahib means suhbah. Like you say, I got suhbah with a certain sheikh. Suhbah means together. He said, in this world, meaning in dunya, you are with me. Although they were alive, they were always together. The indication was made that even when I make parda from this world, you are going to be with me. Here you are with me, suhbah. And then he said, but on the whole, where everyone knows that the first thing that man will have looking for on the day of Qiyamah, to get out of that thirst, because where the sun will be, what the fikr will be, where the worry will be. Everyone's dua is, oh Allah, grant me Kawthar, meaning the water from that pond, from the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After which man drinks it, then thirst will never afflict him again. Everyone will be looking, I need that drink. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how you are my companion here in this world, you will be my companion there also at the pond. So I used to wonder at these people, that very easy to say, I won't come to make salam here. But what you going to do there? You won't go to the pond also. But we never thought it would one day come into South Africa. But wherever money goes, whatever fitna goes beyond also. Either the fitna of girls, or the fitna of university, or the fitna of a friend. Someone just told me one story, and I forgot everything. Because of that, the time has now come again to put us in the picture. That who was this man known as Abu Bakr? Radiallahu anhu. And what made him such a man? One is that someone's beloved. You don't ever attack someone's beloved. Someone loves a woman. It's his wife. You don't ever swear her because you saw the man. He'll even tell you, you should have rather sworn me, but don't swear my father. That's love. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was that love with his Sahaba also. But more than that, because otherwise that love was for Abu Talib also. But Abu Talib died without Iman. Yes, if someone would curse Abu Talib, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would feel very hurt. My uncle, just keep him out of the picture. Don't even mention him. But that amount of love, or worry or concern, he never ever said, don't swear Abu Talib. He never said it. Rather, he even indicated what will be the azab, punishment of Abu Talib in Jahannam. Meaning my love for him is on his place. But when it came to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and the senior Sahaba, there was an extra. His face would change color if someone would have a small argument with the Sahaba. The reason was this not is a fight with my friend. This is a fight with Islam. That when Abu Bakr will be attacked, that group that will be laying an attack on him will be laying a direct attack on Islam. If there is no Abu Bakr, there is no Quran. Because the gatherer of Quran was Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. If there is no Abu Bakr, the entire Khilafat was a lie. If there is no Abu Bakr, there is no Islam. You take out Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu from the sequence, and the whole Islam falls. There's no way to reach Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam without this man Abu Bakr. So normally when we go to the Kruger Park, one of the first things they'll tell you is if you see an elephant, enjoy the scene. But if you see the elephant with its babies, then you stay far. Especially when the mother turns to look at you. At that time the mother's warning is, that if I'm alone, I got no problem, you can come close. But don't interfere with my children. Those words that we hear in the khutbah every Jummah, where we say, Allah, Allah fi ashabi. That Allah in the Arabic language, normally in the Arabic language you look for a verb, a word before it. For example, you say, run towards the park. Run away from the lion. But sometimes when the lion comes out of the cage, then you don't say run away from the lion. You just say lion and you're gone. You don't have time to say the whole sentence. When the word Allah was said, and the word before it was left out, that fear Allah, watch out of Allah, don't you fear Allah, consider Allah, it was all left. And he just said Allah, Allah. The translation of it is like that elephant when it lifts up its trunk and says, don't you dare come here. Nabi Muhammad said, Allah, Allah fi ashabi. With regards to my companion, fear Allah. La tattakhiduhum gharadan min ba'di. Don't make them your target after me. Because they will never become your target. You will be the target of the anger of Allah. He said, فَمَنْ أَحَبَّهُمْ فَبِحُبِّي أَحَبَّهُمْ. If you love them, you got my love. And that is why I said I accepted this da'wat for this jalsa. Because sometimes, when that baby of that animal is hurt, that lion might even allow a man to come close to save that cub. Because it knows my baby is going to die. When that man saves that cub, that lion will show respect to that man after that. Because love for a child, you win the father. That doctor who saved your child's life, you will never forget him. Although after that he sent the bill also. You still will say Jazakallah. Why? He saved. When you look after someone's beloved, that man will give his life for you. Whoever stood up in the defense of Sahaba radiallahu anhu, Allah tabarak ta'ala certain times in their life came where they were made shaheed or they were on the brinks of shahada. And before that they would see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dream to tell them that I have come to thank you. You fought on behalf of my beloved. It's a Mubarak thing. So if ever in your life You hear someone saying Abu Bakr radiallahu anh in a bad manner, your whole heart tremble. That my salvation in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is if I can say that I stood up for Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Who was this man? So there's few things we will understand. My brother-in-law Mufti Abdullah Mullah prepared this. It's a few notes, but very concise and can go very big. So I will mention these few points, and thereafter I'll just mention a few incidents to understand what is this man and why was he so important to Islam. Among the notes that he mentioned, and then I made some extra on the side, what is called side notes. The first that I wrote here was that in the entire ummah, the most beloved to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was who? So a Sahabi radiallahu anh says, Amr bin al-As radiallahu anh, for many years in his life he fought against Islam. Now he accepted Islam after the conquest of Makkah Mukarramah. So normally because now you accepted right at the ending, and what a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. That when you accept at the ending, normally like you'll tell the person, now you came. All these years you fought against us. Now when we won, now you're acting like, but Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not like that. Amr bin al-As accepts right at the end. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that, you know what, this expedition is going out. One army. I need a man who can fight. I think you the man for the job. He's shocked. Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anh accepted Islam at that same time. He says the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam treated us, we felt shy to go and sit in front of him. Because we knew what we did. He says he gave us that honor, that it seemed whatever mashwara he was now making, he said, where's Khalid? I can't make a mashwara without him. So at that time, Amr bin al-As, he said, the way he gave me honor, that I took that courage, that I went to go ask him that, tell me, who's the most beloved to you? Because he said, I thought it has to be me. He's giving me so much of honor, you in charge of this army. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Aisha radiallahu anha. He said, no, I'm not speaking from the woman, from the men. So he said, the father of Aisha, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He said, then who? He said, Umar radiallahu anhu. I said, then who? He said, Usman radiallahu anhu. He said, I said, then who? Now I'm waiting for my name. Because he's giving me so much of shan. After mentioning couple of names, and look at Sahaba radiallahu anhu, how clean they were in their hearts. He said he mentioned certain names. After I said, I'd rather stop asking, then who? Because it mustn't happen, my name comes at the end. He said, but so much he was giving me. But what love Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had for Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. The Sahabi radiallahu anhu says, Muhammad bin Hanafiya was the son of Ali radiallahu anhu. And the reason why this is said Ali radiallahu anhu is because the Shia have made a big thing that Ali radiallahu anhu and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu could never see eye to eye. Whereas that was very, very, very far from the truth. They were beloveds. They were in and out. They could not do without each other. Each one cried for the other. They lived together. The biggest speech that was given on the death of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was the speech given by Ali radiallahu anhu, which was like a speech of history. What a man you were. Which if we have time, we will go through that speech. So Muhammad bin Hanafiya is the son of Ali radiallahu anhu, not from Fatima radiallahu anha, from another. So he comes and he asks Ali radiallahu anhu later on, because a lot of people were making stories. So he says, I asked my father that who was the most beloved to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because in that time in Kufa, a lot of stories were going around, that it was Ali radiallahu anhu. He was supposed to be given the khilafah. So he said, my father said to me, it was Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. I said, and then who? He said, then it was Umar radiallahu anhu. Muhammad bin Hanafiya said, I never even need to ask the third who, because I knew the third was going to be Usman radiallahu anhu. So I told my father, and you are also. So you look at Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali radiallahu anhu said, me, I am just a simple Muslim. Those were the great people. This is how Sahaba radiallahu anhu spoke. How today people speak with that filthy tongue. Sahaba radiallahu anhu were ha. Ali radiallahu anhu said, I'm a simple Muslim. But Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was on the top. Now what made him so beloved? One is you win someone's heart. But there must be some reason. He had to have something in him that made him win the heart of Rasulullah to such an extent. So a couple of things. Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu says, in the era of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, because they had seen so many signs. There were times when Umar radiallahu anhu made Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu angry, because they were all together. You have arguments, you come together. He says, but when I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's anger, how angry he became. says, it's not worth it. Don't ever make Abu Bakr angry. It was that love. So Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anh says, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we understood that there is no one equal to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. After him, there would be no one equal to Umar radiallahu anh. After him, there was no one equal to Usman radiallahu anh. He said, after that we left the matter, that in the eyes of Allah, who is the most pious amongst the Sahaba? Allah Tabaruk Ta'ala now has his stages. But he said, these three, there was no difference of opinion. Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Usman radiallahu anh. What made him win that way, that heart? He was that companion throughout the life of Rasulullah. But look at this here. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we all did tarikh, seerat in madrasa. And we all did, there were certain times in those wars where people gave their life or their limbs or their wealth in such a manner that it will make the books of history also break apart. You can't explain it. In the battle of Uhud, you will see a woman coming and putting a whole body in front. You will see a Sahabi radiallahu anh say, I put my hand. The arrow hit, another arrow hit, that entire hand became limb. Never again was I going to be able to use that hand. One Sahabi is in front of Rasulullah. He is fighting the enemy. He's got his shield. And then he realizes that as I am in front defending the Rasul of Allah, my back is facing his Mubarak face. That wasn't the place to worry about adab. It was a war. He could not accept his back facing. He said, I turned around. Let all the arrows hit my back. But my back cannot face Rasulullah. You know what love that is? You'll never in your mind fathom. That woman is running, they said your husband is gone, your father is gone, your son is gone. She's running, she said, don't worry. Where is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I heard he passed away. They said, he's alive. She said, all the others who passed away, never mind. Who will ever talk like that? So you can understand that era was an era of mujahada. It was an era of sacrifice. You see Mus'ab ibn Umair walking in the masjid. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam looks at him and he cries. He cries at the zuhad. You know what zuhad? Zuhad is the piety of that man. That he says, I remember Mus'ab ibn Umair in Makkah Mukarramah when he was still non-Muslim. His mother gave him everything he wanted. He was the pampered child, spoiled. And then Islam entered. And in that Islam, his mother said, it's either me or Islam. And he chose Islam. And then Mus'ab ibn Umair makes hijrah to Medina Munawwara, leaving everything behind. And he comes to Medina Munawwara, he passes away in the battle of Uhud. After Uhud, things started changing. At the time of his burial, there wasn't enough to cover him for his coffin. So Sahaba radiallahu anh, later on in life, one Sahabi had food in front of him. He looked at the food and he couldn't eat. So they asked him, why are you not eating? He says, I remember the time of us at the beginning. What and what we went through. He says, then there were amongst us those, but they never ever tasted the fruits of victory after that. They had left everything for the year after. He says, amongst them was Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anh. He sacrificed everything. And in the battle of Uhud, we couldn't even cover his body properly. Nothing. That Mus'ab ibn Umair, when he walked in the masjid, Rasulullah cried when he looked at him. And he said, I remember the youth of this young boy. But for Islam, he gave everything away. And now he walks in the masjid without proper clothing. He cried, how much of sacrifice? Every Sahabi, what he did. But now Rasulullah makes a statement. What a statement this is. He says, every Sahabi, every Sahabiyah, whoever did anything for me, whatever sacrifice they made for me, I have paid them back already. I gave it back. He says, but Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, what he did for me, I will not be able to pay him back. He says, Allah only will be able to pay him. What did Abu Bakr radiallahu anh do that he said a statement like that? That the mujahada of the world of Sahaba, where he said, but I paid them back. But when it came to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he said, I can't. This was that Sahabi at the beginning of Islam. That love of Islam, as soon as he accepted, he went out to give dawah. He was the one who brought Usman radiallahu anh. He brought Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. He brought Talha. He brought Zubair, what we call the Ashara Mubashara. He brought them. Now he stands up in front of the Quraysh. Loud he makes an announcement. They would never hit Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. He was from that family. He was protected. But he stood in the masjid. That they could not accept. They all landed on him. How much of punches, how much of strangling, how much of hiding. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh now is unconscious. He might be dead. The people of his tribe come and say, if you have killed him, then we will take revenge. They take him home. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, how many days he stays in that state? What and what happened to him? When his eyes opened, they shocked, he survived. When his eyes opened, the first thing he says is, what happened to Muhammad? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone they looked at him in shock. They just walked out. He said, because of that man this happened to you. But at the time when you wake up and your eyes open, the first thing you say, But which man would just come out of a state of unconscious and say, where is my beloved? He made the effort in that difficult condition to come into Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at him and cried. And he asked him, how is everything? And what it was, that after seeing you, it's all gone. What love there was. On that man, if someone lays an attack, it means he hasn't understood the beginning of Islam. He went through that. A lot of people think Abu Bakr radiallahu anh had no mujahada. He went through it all. Thereafter, a few points were mentioned, which after that I will just go through this waqiyat I want to explain. But a few points which my brother-in-law made note of, which are very unique. That he says, understand the relationship between Abu Bakr radiallahu anh and Ali radiallahu anh. A lot of people feel that Fatima radiallahu anha, before passing away, she was also upset with Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. So they don't remember that, or tarikh, because you don't know your history. The nurse of Fatima radiallahu anha, in her sickness till the ending, was the wife of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Asma bint Umays radiallahu anh was in and out. She was in and out. If there was any family feud at that time taking place, you won't have the wife being the main nurse. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was one of the few men who were present at the time of the death of Fatima radiallahu anha. She never wanted anyone to know of her. She had that satar, that haya. But Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was called immediately. Now when the time for her janazah comes, Ali radiallahu anh says, you make the janazah. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, how can I make it? You should make it. And the two of them are competing. Certain narration says Abu Bakr radiallahu anh in the ending made it. Certain narration shows it was Ali radiallahu anh. What was that connection of love? That you won't tell the man, you make the janazah. He said, no, you make the janazah. On the death of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, the same Asma bint Umays radiallahu anh, Ali radiallahu anh marries her. And the child of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, which is Muhammad, he takes him into his house to look after him as a son. Had there been no relationship of extreme love, they would never have done these things. They lived together. They were in and out. So understand the love that they had. Amazing, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala made it in naming your child, a lot is spoken about. So he mentioned a few points. He said that Ali radiallahu anh, when you name your children, one of his children was Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. He named his child Abu Bakr. They had a love. Thereafter came Hussein radiallahu anh. We know Hussein radiallahu anh, the son of Ali radiallahu anh. He named his child Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Thereafter came what the Shias known as their imams. Among the imams, one is Musa al-Kazim. He named his child Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Then there was Ja'far as-Sadiq, which you all have heard, Ja'far as-Sadiq. They were great men. But the Shias, they call him our imams, and they make a lot of stories. So Ja'far as-Sadiq got a daughter. He named her Aisha radiallahu anh. Aisha. They had unique love for that family. Then there was Musa al-Kazim, who already had a son, Abu Bakr. He got a daughter, he named her Aisha. Then there was Ali al-Ridha. He's also one of what they call our imam. And then the imams came to an end after. They couldn't find more imams. But he had a daughter, he called her Aisha radiallahu anha. Aisha. Had there been any problem, no one would have named his children last. So amongst them there was no problem. But it is today's time where people have made that attack. So to understand who this man is, I'm going to go through a few waqiyat which very fast I was reading, so I made note of. And I felt that the need has now come to understand who this man was. This was basic. But just to put you in the picture of what was Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. There was a time in madrasa where a student asked that we know so much of Umar radiallahu anhu. And like every youngster, Umar was a lion. But about Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, we hardly know anything. So when he asked that question, the answer that I gave him that time, but later on then I researched, but the answer that I gave him that time was Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he only had 2 years. All his life he was the khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But what was he created for? He was created to be the mirror. What mirror? You may not understand what this is, but if you got an institute, or in the work of Tabligh example, Hazrat Maulana Ilyas rahimullah passed away, he gave the work over to Maulana Yusuf rahimullah. Maulana Yusuf rahmatullah was a unique speaker. His one bayan would make majmas go up. Thousands would just stand up, ready to go out in the path of Allah. What a tongue he had. Now when Maulana Yusuf rahimullah passed away, there had to be a move over. When Maulana Ilyas rahimullah passed away, there had to be a move over. On both moves, Maulana Zakaria rahimullah writes, when Maulana Ilyas rahimullah passed away, how many people said that the work of Tabligh is going to fall? So they came to Hazrat Sheikh and said, there's no one to take this work. So Hazrat Sheikh rahimullah said, there is that boy, Yusuf. Where's Yusuf? They said, Yusuf, he's not interested. But when he took the work, how he took it? Maulana Yusuf rahimullah, when he took the work, when he sat down for his first bayan perhaps, and he knew all the people are talking lot. So he said a unique sentence. He said, the hand that is giving, that has not changed. The hand that is receiving has changed. It's meaning the receiver, I'm not as good as my father. How he could receive. When Maulana Yusuf rahimullah passed away, again lot people left Tabligh. Because he said, Maulana Inam al-Hasan is not like Maulana Yusuf. Just to understand why that happened. Because when you know one person, you can't accept the second person. Although he and he are both of the same era. That we can understand, that the whole institute practically falls. But here you having a transition, a move from a Nabi to a non-Nabi. From a man who got wahi whenever something happened wrong, to a man who will get no wahi. From a man who is divinely protected from the heavens, to a man who hasn't got divine protection. For a man who says, I am Sharia, that if you don't listen to me, you have disobeyed Allah, Jahannam is for you. And you got Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu who can't say that. He has to say, if I say right, listen to me. If I say wrong, tell me. You know what a move that has to be. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala created Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu for that. To take that ummah from a Nabi to a non-Nabi and let Islam still move. And we will explain why it was so hard. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the end of his life. Now Islam has reached. Now the people are entering into Islam. Now there are thousands and thousands. Wealth has not yet entered into Islam, Lord. A little wealth has come. A lot of times the Shia tried to say Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wanted to be the Khalifa, so he could take over the whole institute. There was no institute at that time. There was no wealth at that time. There was nothing to run for. This was a zimmedari, a responsibility who no one wanted to take. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's final days before his death was 15 days. He was poisoned years ago. He had eaten little of it. The other Sahabi who ate passed away immediately. The meat spoke and he said, Oh Allah's Nabi, I have been poisoned. Don't eat me. A little had already gone in. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam later on now, during the last days, that poison now has affected his kidneys. So he says that poison has come back in. Now he's feeling the pain. What we call renal failure, kidney failure, which is extremely painful. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is taken on a level of pain which we can never imagine. A Sahabi radiallahu anhu, Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu anhu says, I come to visit. How many were coming to visit? He says, I noticed also there was that bag of water placed above Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's head. And every now and then one drop of water is falling. Cool water. Because the body was on such a immense level of fever, that it was just that water dripping that was keeping that thing bearable. So he comes and he looks at that water and he places his hand to say, how are you? His hand touches the blanket, he pulls it back. He says, what fever? I have never felt something like this. He says, your fever is double. You know what double is? You went to the doctor says you're supposed to have 36. If you want 39, it's over, you cannot have 39. If you say double, then you take 36 and you double it. The Sahaba were not exaggerating. And Rasulullah then said it. We the Anbiya say, he has gone to his Allah and is coming back. Just wait few days. Usman radiallahu anh could not talk. Ali radiallahu anh was just in the house. They were discussing the burial. They didn't want to come out. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is far in his own district. He gets the news. Comes on his animal. He walks in. He looks at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He just starts crying. But what a heart he had. He goes out and he gives the first bayan. And in his bayan short, and he says one verse of Quran. He says, Allah already had mentioned, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. That the Rasul of Allah was a Rasul of Allah. And then he said, if any of you worship Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then let him know that his God has died. Whoever worshipped Allah, Allah is living. Umar radiallahu anh said, when he read that verse, everyone looked up. He said, we all were hafiz of Quran. But that state of ours at that time made us forget. He said, that one verse took us all out. But now put yourself in the picture. The Rasul of Allah just passed away. The Roman Empire was already attacked, right at the ending. The only reason the Romans never fight was the Emperor of Rome told, as long as the Nabi is alive, don't dare and attack. Soon as the message has reached them that he has passed away, the Romans say, now is the time for attacking. The Persians got the chance now. Now is the time to go. The Nabi is gone. And the Arabs all around, they were amongst them hypocrites. They were amongst them people who were looking for fame and name. In the end of Rasulullah's life, there were two people already. One was Musaylama Kadhab. One was S.A.W al-Unsi. They had already made claims. One was in Yemen. He said, I am a Nabi of Allah. Musaylama Kadhab was in charge of the biggest tribe of the Arabs, which was called the tribe of Banu Hanif. They were strong. He wrote a letter to Rasulullah that I give you my full support on condition when you pass away, make me Khalifa. So Nabi SAW wrote to him that the earth is for Allah. He gives it to who he wants. This Musaylama Kadhab was strong. On the other side, that S.A.W al-Unsi is strong. These are two Arabs. Then there are those small Arab groups who say, we accept Islam, but zakat we used to give it only to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Why must we give it to Abu Bakr? Who's Abu Bakr? So you had that group. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh becomes Khalifa. He goes out. There's an army there prepared. It's on a place called Jurf. This is where the army would camp. There's a young boy of the age of 20, Usama bin Zayd radiallahu anh. He's in charge of this army. This army got a lot of top soldiers. Why? Nabi SAW prepared them to attack the Roman Empire. Must know what the Roman Empire is. They had made one attack on the Romans before. Khalid radiallahu anh saved that army and managed to bring it back. It never worked. Now Nabi SAW puts this 20-year-old boy in charge of the army. Top soldiers are there. And he says, you all must go. They are on the outskirts and they get the news Rasulullah SAW has passed away. They get the news that the Arabs are all becoming murtad. They get the news that attacks are going to take place from all sides. So immediately Usama bin Zayd radiallahu anh says, let's go back to defend Medina Munawwara. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh stands up. And he says, you will not spend the night except back in your area. Go. The whole army goes. This was the first time the entire Jamaat of Sahaba gathered against Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Umar radiallahu anh voices his opinion loudly. Ali radiallahu anh speaks loudly that there is no way you can send that army out, because we have to protect Medina. The enemy from all sides are coming. This is the prime of the Muslim army. Where are you sending? Where are you sending? Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says that what that army which Rasulullah tied the flag, you want Abu Bakr to take that flag down? I won't do it. He has one meeting with them. He has a second meeting with them. Everyone is against him. You can understand what a zimmedari this was. When Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, even if I know that the people of Medina Munawwara and the wives of Rasulullah SAW will be eaten by the dogs, I'm taking the chance. This army must go. What a thing to say. No one in their life would have ever said that. And he said, the army go. Everyone looked shocked. What a level of iman you must have. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh said, I will look after Medina Munawwara. He had a few group with him. He sent this army out. As the army is going out, now they come back to him. They said, the army will go out, but this boy Usama is too young. In that army is a man called Umar, make him in charge of the army. Make this one in charge, make that one in charge. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh grabs Umar radiallahu anh by the beard. And he says, you are saying a thing like that. When Allah's Nabi made him in charge, you want me to take him out? Send the army out. You have to have a level of iman. To fight the superpower of the time at such a condition, it was only Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. He walks with that army. Usama bin Zayd says, let me get down from my animal. He says, you stay on your animal, I will walk. So the whole army is shocked that look at this man of 62 years old, 60 years old. Look at that boy of 20 and what honor he's giving him. As he's walking, he says to Usama, that I only have one request. That you see this man Umar, if you give me permission, then I will keep him behind with me. I need his mashwara. He said it loudly. The people were shocked that you the Khalifa. And you're asking him if you give me permission. He told Usama radiallahu anh, whatever Rasulullah told you to go, attack this place, attack that place, attack that place, go out. And don't rush in coming back until every job is done. 40 days they went. They attacked the Romans. In the one attack, the entire Roman Empire pulled back. Because they were on the verge of attacking and they heard that they are coming to attack us. They had one attack, another attack, small attacks. But the whole Roman Empire pulled back. That this must be a mighty army. That the man just dies, passes away, and they're sending out the armies. The Arabs were on the verge of attacking. They all pull back. Couple of delegations come. They say, we don't want to pay zakat. Everything else we will do. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, I will wage war against you people. Second time, the Jamaat of Sahaba gather against Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. They say, at such a time, be diplomatic. We need these tribes. The whole world is against us. And you fighting about a zakat issue, leave it. Umar radiallahu anh again comes and says, they're reading kalima and you want to wage jihad against them. Again he looks at Abu Bakr, Umar radiallahu anh. And he says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put zakat and salat together. If these people refuse to give that one rope with which they tie the leg of their camel or their goat, Abu Bakr will wage jihad. And he says, if all of you all leave me, I will wage jihad myself against all of them. And that's when he said that unique sentence. He says, oh Umar, when Islam was at the beginning, and you were non-Muslim, you used to act so strong. And how you persecuted the Muslims. And now that you became Muslim, you become so weak like a coward. He says, as long as Abu Bakr is alive, he will not allow weakness to come into deen. That small weakness. It's easy to talk, but at that time, where you don't know what's happening with the Romans, you sent out your mighty army already. The crime of Medina is gone. And now you're telling that small armies, I will fight you also, I will fight you also, I'll fight you. Then you got Musaylama Kadhab, he already claimed to be a Nabi. You got in Yemen, he claimed to be a Nabi. Abu Bakr is not bothered. He has taken the fight of the world. Those delegations come, he sees on their face, they already looked around, Medina is empty. There is no one in Medina. So he tells Sahaba radiallahu anh, that night they have already understood that Medina is weak. Tonight or the next night the attacks are going to start. He sends letters to the tribes around, whoever you got, bring them over. Different tribes start sending their men, start sending the camels. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh puts Sahaba radiallahu anh in the masjid. He takes the woman, he puts them in the forts, what is called in the mountain insides, and they have men guarding so that the women are not attacked. And now when the enemy come to attack, who's in the front? They say 3 of the main battles, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is in the front of the army. At the age of 60, to understand a man taking his sword and going in this direction and going in that direction. After 3 battles, Ali radiallahu anh says, save the ummah. Please stop going out. There's enough people to go out. You just stay here. Abu Bakr, what a man at the age of 60. To be in. Why are we saying this? Think of any leader in history where you can think of a man who goes into the enemy to fight at that age. You send your armies, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. At the end of the entire thing, Usama radiallahu anh's army after 40 days is returning. Muslims are shocked. And now Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says the time of jihad has now started. Now we're going for the Romans. Now we're going for the Persians. Now we're going. And what war? But at that time they told him that the beginning few days, where there was a fear every second. One Sahabi said to him, if that that responsibility was put on mountains, they would have crushed. How did you manage? Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, by Allah, from the time that I was in the cave with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at that time you were scared. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, oh Abu Bakr, don't be scared. Because what is your opinion of those two people who Allah is the third? Where Allah Tabarak Ta'ala then in Quran said, لَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَيْهِ. That Allah put sakina upon him, upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that cave. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was the other. He says, from that day when that sakina fell on me in the cave, never did fear ever enter my heart. You can understand that level. It's easy to say, I never got scared after that. But you have to be a man who says that let the whole world attack my small Medina. And why, Abu Bakr, I will stand and I will defend it against the world. He says, from that day I was in the cave, fear never entered my heart after that. This was that 2 years that was needed. This was. When you went into that man after, imagine what wars were being fought. You can't believe it. Now you come onto the life of the man on the ground. And you see Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, now he's sorting out. Now they have taken over Sham. A lot of the times people think he took over. When he took over, there was no wealth. Now he sent them out to Sham. Now they started taking. Now wealth is coming. So much of wealth. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is staying in his one place where he used to stay far from Masjid al-Nabawi. So the neighbors said that before this man Abu Bakr, he used to milk our goats. Every morning he used to milk for us. Now that he's the Khalifa of the Muslim world, where he is going to milk our goats? Abu Bakr radiallahu anh hears this. He says, may Allah not make it that my position changes who I am. I will continue milking the goats. For 6 months, he stayed in that area until he had to move to Masjid al-Nabawi. 6 months, he never missed a day except that he milked those goats. That man who's fighting the armies of the world, he's milking goats in the morning. Now that Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is walking, Umar radiallahu anh looks at him. One woman is saying, I need Abu Bakr to make a judgment. Umar radiallahu anh says, where is he? They say, he's in the marketplace. They say, what is doing in the marketplace? We already stopped him from going to the market. This is the one point that the Shias can't understand. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was a wealthy man. He sacrificed his wealth for Islam. Islam never made him wealthy on the ground. In Islam, all his wealth went away. Now even he's a businessman. He's going to the market to make business. Umar stops him. Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah says, you're the Khalifa of the world. How can you go to the market? He says, who's going to look after my family? They say, come to the Baytul Mal, we will write out for you. This is your expenses. Listen to this. This is not Zuma, how much he's collecting every month. Understand this and then tell that, how can that Shia ever say the man usurped? There was nothing to usurp. They write out for him, this is your salary, but don't go to the market. Listen to the next. That after a few weeks, the family of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh cannot survive. What salary was written for them? That they couldn't manage. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, I am forced to go back to the markets. What a leader. That amount that I'm getting is too little for my family. So he goes back to the market and that's when the woman is saying, where's the judge? So Umar said, where is he? They said, he's in the market. He goes to him, said, didn't we stop you coming to the market? He says, but you all wrote such a meager salary for me. My family can't survive. Which leader will ever talk like this? What was that salary that was written so little? Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, you have to increase it a little, otherwise we can't survive. Umar radiallahu anh said, I can't increase it. Look at this. So how can we increase it? He looks at Ali radiallahu anh and says, what do you think? Ali radiallahu anh says, I think we should increase it. What a discussion. This is not that Zuma discussion from 1 million to 2 million. From a part of a sheep, he's asking for the whole sheep. What do you think? See, his family is big. That quarter sheep is not sufficient for the whole family. Thinking after deliberated, right, okay, we write it. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is not sure still. He calls the whole Medina Munawwara for the Jummah or for a big meeting. What's the big meeting? He says that my needs I can't manage on this meager salary. So these two have told they want to increase it. Do you people give permission? There's nothing to usurp. What a man. He took over the whole world's fikr. At that time, so much of wealth was coming in the Muslim Baytul Mal. But you have the Khalifa saying that they're increasing my salary from quarter of a sheep to a whole sheep. Will you give permission? People are shocked. Everyone else is richer than Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Remember when Umar radiallahu anh was Khalifa, they came and told him, change your house. Umar became upset. He said, you saw the house of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, when he was passing away, Umar radiallahu anh said, you made a sunnah so difficult for the leaders who will come after you, that it will be impossible to follow. That you stayed in that level of simplicity, when so much of wealth was entering. This is Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. There were a few other things I wanted to mention. One was his salary. One was how he fought against the whole world. What a level of iman. Then we spoke about how he milked for his neighbors. And look at this man. There was a time when a lot of camels came. So now they were going to distribute the camels. And every mujahid will get a camel. So Abu Bakr makes an announcement. Tomorrow camels are going to be distributed. Everyone must come. But no one must enter into the area. Because me and Umar will be busy. And we're choosing and we're separating the camels. And then we know who will get one. Whatever happened, one man, he never understood, or he was a little bit bold and he entered. So when he entered now, Abu Bakr never want anyone to come because he'll say, I want this one. So Abu Bakr became upset and said, I gave an order yesterday everyone to wait outside. What you came in for? And he gave him a shot. Like how normally a father will hit someone. That man, these people were strong. A small shot, swords on the battlefield wouldn't harm them. So what would it harm him? But after the whole thing was distributed, when this man's turn came, Abu Bakr said, before I give you your share, please hit me. So Umar said, Wallah, I will not allow this. Because if you allow this man to hit you, then every Khalifa who comes after will also be hit by the people. He said, you are starting a sunnah. Abu Bakr said, then who will save me from Allah? Understood this. Umar said, we can't have it. He said, make him happy, give him something. So from his own side, he said, I'll give you this, I'll give you this, I'll give you this. Will you make me maaf? This is that Abu Bakr. This is where Rasulullah said, don't target my Sahaba. Because you don't know what they were. In those 2 years, he was that mirror of Rasulullah. But what a mirror he had to be. Finally, to end, when I was reading, I reached this. And then we ended on this. So I'll just read this last few paragraphs. And then we will end this. But this was a man. When you go to Medina Munawwara and you make salam to Rasulullah, when you come in front of him, also understand that that man at that time when the whole world was falling on Islam. But if you know Islam, Allah Pak created Abu Bakr to stand up to that war. But what a war. No one in their life will ever think, I can do it. To stand up to the war of the world, and says one. And they write that look at it. To the whole Jamaat of Sahaba were against one Abu Bakr. Both times. They told him, you are out of your mind. He had no one support. And Abu Bakr stood firm. He said, no one would have ever done that. And then all the Sahaba said in the ending, what Abu Bakr said was right. So on this year, most likely it was Umar radiallahu anh, who said after the battles with the apostates, meaning the people who became murtad, and after sending out the battle army of Usama radiallahu anh, he says, I understood that the whole ummah, you put their iman on the one pen, and you put the iman of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh on the other pen. And we said we understood the iman of this individual. He said we all understood it after that. We all were against him. But how he stood. The paragraph that I wanted to read. Umar radiallahu anh later confessed, by Allah, in Abu Bakr's decision to fight against the murtads, it became clear that Abu Bakr radiallahu anh's iman outweighs the fate of everyone from this nation put together. What was Umar radiallahu anh's iman? But what a thing he had to say. And then there was another paragraph. He wrote it very beautifully, so very quickly we will go through it. He says, it was as if the weight of the world was being placed on the shoulders of Abu Bakr Radiallahu anhu. This was when he said, I'll fight against the people who don't want to pay zakat. Because it was a small issue. He said, just leave them for a while. He had to make a critical decision. Only a brief period after he had made that first important decision of send out the army of Usama, that itself was holding. And now he said, I'll fight these people who are not paying zakat. And then there was all the others. As matters stood, the Muslims were being threatened by the followers of Musaylama, the followers of Al-Aswad. And so the companions began to ask themselves whether it was wise to create even more enemies. After all, those who were refusing to pay zakat were still accepting iman. As unpopular as this decision might have potentially been, Abu Bakr had to live up to the duties of the Khalifa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When certain companions came to him to convince him that don't wage war, this is not the right time, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh gave a sermon. In that sermon it was one sentence that silenced them. He said, Wahi has stopped. Islam is now complete. Shall I allow Islam to decrease while I am still alive? Meaning, I will never allow this. In how we say normally, be diplomatic. This is not the time. What a decision he had to make. According to another narration, Umar radiallahu anh said, O Khalifa of the Messenger of Allah, unite the people, appease them, be gentle with them. Don't fight now. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh replied that during the days of ignorance you were very strong, and now in Islam you have become a coward. Wahi has stopped, Islam is complete. So must I allow Islam to decrease while I'm alive? He said, I will never do it. And then he made that decision. And finally we will reach this last one. So we mentioned during the bayan, but we will just end on this here. He says, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was brave, but his bravery alone does not explain why he was so willing to sacrifice his life for the cause of Islam, nor why he was willing to thrust himself into the most dangerous of situations. We explained in those 3 wars, the first 3 battles, he was there in the front. Rather it wasn't just bravery. More than anything else, it was his faith on Allah that inspired him to achieve such great feats on the battlefield. It was this essential quality and not actual deeds, for many companions were also known for their good deeds of worship. But it was this iman that made him better than all the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. That level of iman. The outbreak of irtidad, apostasy, threatened the lives of all Muslims. Yet Abu Bakr radiallahu anh remained firm, steadfast, resolute. He led the Muslims out of danger by waging an all-out war against the murtads. Someone later said to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, in regard to the crisis you faced, had it descended upon mountains, it would have crushed them. Yet we did not see you becoming weak. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh replied, terror has not entered my heart ever since the night of the cave, the night in which I was with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw how sad I was in the cave, he said to me, there is no need to worry, O Abu Bakr. Allah has guaranteed that this Islam will reach its completion. He says, after that, terror never entered my heart. So this is, I had only reached here, otherwise the bayan would have been another 1 hour to finish the book. What I want to explain is that if you don't understand your history, in today's time in the universities, that man who was that transition, had he not been there, this first war, but Allah Tabarakala made, Islam had to live. But that first war was such a war that the Ummah never saw after that such a war. After that, Islam spread everywhere. So there was always, if you being attacked, that one is coming to help. You being attacked, this one is coming to help. But it was in that 2 years where Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was that one man who saw that one man, because if it was Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was a Nabi. But now it was a non-Nabi. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was divinely protected. Abu Bakr was not divinely protected. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say one thing, no Sahabi would say, hey. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was a man like the rest of men. All the Sahaba came and told him, are you making the right decision? He had to make them happy first. But what a thing to do. Try and run your small house, where we all know the wife got her own mood, mother-in-law got her own mood, and you enter there and you say, I'll be the Abu Bakr. You won't be. In your small house, you can't establish your rule.
This man had to take the chance to say that even if the wives of Rasulullah, meaning my daughter Aisha, she has to be eaten by the dogs, meaning the enemy enter and they cut everyone into pieces, and the dogs start eating them. He says, I will accept it, but I will never see any small piece of Islam being left out. What a level. Allah Tabarakullah bless us with the love of this man, the love of all Sahaba. And make dua for those people who got some enmity, for whatever reason they grew up in the wrong environment. Make dua for them. But if you find that person is not coming out, then Rasulullah SAW clearly said, when you will see people who are cursing my companions, then you must say, may the curse of Allah be upon you. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala grant us understanding. Subhanallah. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. O most beloved Allah, most Kareem Allah, most Rahim Allah, O most kind Allah, O Allah, in the tawassul of Abu Bakr Radiallahu anhu, O Allah, in the barakah of having taken his name in this Mubarak Majlis, O Allah, just in the khidmah that we have said a few words in his praise to try to defend the honor of this great man of Islam. O Allah, we have hope that because of that small effort that we made, of the effort of time that people gave to listen, of that 1 hour, 2 hours that went away in this discussion, O Allah, we have hope that because we showed and presented our love of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, which you will definitely present in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, in the tawassul of this Mubarak Amal, we ask that you make us all people who will be deserving of the highest places of Jannatul Firdaus. O Allah, we ask that you write our place in Jannatul Firdaus. O Allah, we beg that when we come in front of the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then first it will be Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu who will smile at us, and then he will take us to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, in Masjid Nabawi we give our salams to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. O Allah, in the qabr we will give our salams to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. O Allah, on the day of Qiyamah we will be looking for this man, because we know wherever he will be, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be next. O most Kareem Allah, most forgiving Allah, most kind Allah, O Allah, those people who grew up with this misunderstanding, O Allah, correct their minds and their thoughts. O Allah, and if Hidayah is not been written for them, then O Allah, even before their deaths, let such an adab fall upon them, that they become a lesson to all those that are around them. O Allah, those incidents are in history, where people spoke bad of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and before their deaths they were turned into animals. O Allah, but those incidents have been hidden from the eyes of many. O Allah, we beg you that you make such incidents known in the world, so that those people who have that audacity will pull back, and they will understand what a divine punishment is waiting in the year after, for a person who raises his tongue, he raises his finger, he raises his eye, against this most illustrious companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, bless us with the love of all Sahaba radiallahu anhum. O Allah, bless us with the aqeedah for all Sahaba radiallahu anhum. O Allah, let us live to protect the honor. O Allah, let us die in the protection of the honor. O Allah, let us be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah amongst your Sahaba. Allahumma anta as-salam wa minka as-salam. Tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Sami'na wa ata'na ghufranaka rabbana wa ilayka al-masir.